Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Gauranitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please recite along with me. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch light of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for assembling here this morning for the auspicious vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada Priya led us in a wonderful mantra night yesterday evening, and she explained, as did I, that Srimad Bhagavatam is our source of solace when we're needing some wisdom in life, needing some relief. And she led us in the chanting of the Gopi Gita verse, Tava Katam Matam Tapta Jivanam. Amazing to see, even brand new people are able to hear the words of the gopis from the 10th canto, which is very confidential, but they were actually able to receive some real deep meaning by the eloquent and relevant explanation of Her Grace Prabhupada Priya. So thank you very much. So Srimad Bhagavatam, we're so fortunate that we can have access to this and understand by Srila Prabhupada and his dedicated followers. We're continuing hearing about which king? Prithu, yes, who is which type of incarnation of Krishna? Shakti Avesh, yeah, so he is an empowered incarnation. On the same level, Srila Prabhupada describes Lord Jesus, and even Srila Prabhupada doesn't describe himself in this way, but in one of these purports in this chapter, he makes it very clear that he is actually also in the same category. At least that's my understanding of. I'll try to point out that purport when we come to it. But Srila Prabhupada says that one who is spreading Krishna consciousness in a major way cannot do so unless they're specifically empowered by the Lord. And he quotes the Chaitanya Charitamrita to that effect. So, this is chapter 19 of Canto 4. So Prithu Maharaj had just had a bit of a debate and got a little angry at who? Bhumi Devi, who is Mother Earth personified. She took the form of a calf. She ran away because after King Prithu was enthroned, the people came to him and said, "We're starving. We don't have enough grains. The earth is restricting grains." So Prithu became very angry, and he approached Bhumi Devi and was ready to kill her. And so she ran away. And eventually, Prithu Maharaj and her came to some understanding, and Swayambhuva Manu became a calf. We still don't understand the mechanism of how this works, but if anyone can figure out, let us know. Somehow, these different great personalities turned into calves, and from the earth, from Mother Bhumi, they received their desirables. So the demons got liquor, and the devas got soma, and various other desirables from the earth. Then King Prithu leveled the earth so it could be suitable for building towns and doing agriculture. And now, in chapter 19, King Prithu will perform 100 horse sacrifices. And Srila Prabhupada will make it abundantly clear, as he always does, that King Prithu is not killing these horses. He's actually rejuvenating them with new life. And this was a way that the sages would test their mantras, that they were effective. And now in Kali Yuga, people aren't so potent, so these type of sacrifices are not recommended. And Prabhupada again and again says we should do which sacrifice? Chanting Hare Krishna, which is called the Sankirtan Yagya. Yeah. So when we have the puja going on, we always chant Hare Krishna, because that's the real sacrifice of the age. Okay. Chapter 19, King Prithu's 100 horse sacrifices. We're reading the whole chapter, so kindly read 3 verses and then pass on the mic. Go ahead.
The great sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, King Prithu initiated the performance of 100 horse sacrifices at the spot where the river Sarasvati flows towards the east. This piece of land is known as
Brahmavarta.
Brahmavarta, and it was controlled by Svayambhuma Manu. When the most powerful Indra, the king of heaven, saw this, he considered the fact that the king Prithu was going to exceed him in fruitive activities. Thus, Indra could not tolerate the great sacrificial ceremonies performed by King Prithu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is present in everyone's heart as the Supersoul, and he is the proprietor of all planets and the enjoyer of all results of all sacrifices. He was personally present at the sacrifices made by King Prithu.
Amazing. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is personally present there at the sacrifice. That's how exalted Maharaj Prithu was.
When Lord Brahma appeared in the sacrificial arena, when Lord Vishnu, my apologies, Hare Krishna. When Lord Vishnu appeared in the sacrificial arena, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the chief predominating personalities of every planet, as well as their followers, came with him. When he appeared on the scene, the residents of Gandharva Loka, the great sages, and the residents of Apasara Loka all praised him. The Lord was accompanied by the residents of Siddha Loka and Vidara Loka, and all the descendants of Diti, and the demons and the yakshas. He was also accompanied by his chief associates, headed by Sudana and Nanda. Great devotees who were always engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as well as the great sages named Kapila, Narada, and Lord Dattatreya, and the masters of the mystic powers, headed by Sanaka Kumara, all attended the great sacrifice with Lord Vishnu.
So a famous person, they've always got what we might call a posse or an entourage. They got their I'm just thinking of all these like rap terms, their crew with them. Their entourage, yeah, their maybe their groupies is a some of them are even the demons were there with the Lord. Isn't that interesting? The yakshas and the demons were there following Lord Vishnu into the sacrificial arena. So a famous person in this planet is always accompanied by many people. What to speak of the most famous person when Lord Vishnu arrives? He's got everyone, all these great souls, great sages. And in a similar way, when a great personality arrives at our temple, we usually have kirtan. Was there kirtan for Giriraj Maharaj last night? Yeah. So a great sannyasi comes, then we welcome them by chanting the holy names. Okay.
Text 7. My dear Vidura, in that great sacrifice, the entire land came to be like the milk-producing Kamadhenu, and thus, by the performance of yagya, all daily necessities for life were supplied. The flowing rivers supplied all kinds of tastes, sweet, pungent, sour, etc. And very big trees supplied fruit and honey in abundance. The cows, having eaten sufficient green grass, supplied profuse quantities of milk, curd, clarified butter, and similar other necessities. King Prithu was presented with various gifts from the general populace and predominating deities of all planets. The oceans and seas were full of valuable jewels and pearls, and the hills were full of chemicals and fertilizers. 4 kinds of edibles were produced profusely.
It's so simple. You just have a leader who is Krishna conscious and asks all of society, instructs them, guides them to serve and worship the Lord, and then everything is there. You don't need big factories. You don't need Walmart. You don't need all of this. You don't need Amazon Prime, because all the things you need... Hold up. No offense, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, because Mother Earth will supply everything when the king and the population is doing yagya. And Prabhupada says that because the yagya for this age is the Sankirtan yagya, if the leader of a society organizes and all the citizens are doing this sacrifice of chanting the holy names, then there will be no scarcity. Srila Prabhupada says, if the Sankirtan Yagya is performed, there will be no difficulty, not even in industrial enterprises. Isn't that interesting? He says, therefore, this system should be introduced in all spheres of life, social, political, industrial, commercial, etc. Then everything will run very peacefully and smoothly. So imagine, let's say you go into Walmart and the cashier is like, Haribol. Hare Krishna, how was your shopping experience? And in the loudspeakers, instead of some obnoxious pop music that just makes you want to buy more things, you're hearing like B.B. Govindaswamy, singing at Kirtan 50. Imagine, like that. What a world it would be. So why can't people accept the simple process of chanting the holy names? Any other thoughts? What would the world look like if we had the Sankirtan movement, even in industrial and commercial enterprises? It would be a lot happier, yeah. Prabhupada says everything will run peacefully and smoothly. Yeah. What's that? No more war, yeah. Yeah, because many wars are fought over religion. And if we can unite on the platform of chanting the holy names, okay, you chant Allah, we'll chant Krishna, no problem. Why do thousands and millions of people need to be unnecessarily killed? It's absurd. Kurukshetra Prime instead of Amos, what would that look like? Oh, I see. The brand names would be like in Vrindavan. It's like Gopal's Dentistry. Yeah, right. That's a good game, actually, while you're driving around, or if you have to go shopping for whatever. You go buy some boga for your family or for the temple. You can look at the store names and try to convert them into Krishna conscious names. So, like I was talking with the banker yesterday at Chase, and we had a really nice interfaith dialogue, actually. He was a very open-minded Baptist practitioner. And at one point I said, you're working at Chase and you're chasing the Lord. And he was like, yep, that's right. He liked it. Okay, let's go on.
King Prithu was dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Adokshaja. Because King Prithu performed so many sacrifices, he was superhumanly enhanced by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. King Prithu's opulence, however, could not be tolerated by the King of Heaven, Indra, who tried to impede the progress of his opulence. When King Prithu was performing the last horse sacrifice, Ashvamedha Yagya, King Indra, invisible to everyone, stole the horse intended for sacrifice. He did this because of his great envy of King Prithu. When King Indra was taking away the horse, he dressed himself to appear as a liberated person. Actually, this dress was a form of cheating, for it falsely created an impression of religion. When Indra went into outer space in this way, the great sage Atri saw him and understood the whole situation.
Please go on.
When the son of King Prithu was informed
Please hold it a bit closer. Thank you.
When the son of King Prithu was informed by Atri of King Indra's trick, he immediately became very angry and followed Indra to kill him, calling, "Wait, wait!" King Indra was fraudulently dressed as a sannyasi, having knotted his hair on his head and smeared ashes all over his body. Upon seeing such dress, the son of King Prithu considered Indra a religious man and pious sannyasi. Therefore, he did not release his arrows.
Isn't that interesting? So much respect just for the external garb of a sannyasi, even if someone is not acting like a sannyasi. This son of King Prithu is setting an example that we should still have respect for the ashram, the sannyasa ashram.
When Atri Muni, now the son of King Prithu, did not kill Indra, but returned deceived by him, Atri Muni again instructed him to kill the heavenly king because he thought that Indra had become the lowliest of all demigods due to his impeding the execution of King Prithu's sacrifice.
Thank you. Please go on.
Being thus informed, the grandson of King Vena immediately began to follow Indra, who was fleeing through the sky in great haste. He was very angry with him, and he chased him just as the king of vultures chased Ravana.
Who is the king of the vultures? Jatayu.
Jatayu.
Yeah.
When Indra saw that the son of Prithu was chasing him, he immediately abandoned his false dress and left the horse. Indeed, he disappeared from that very spot. And the great hero, the son of Maharaj Prithu, returned the horse to his father's sacrificial arena.
My dear Lord Vidura, when the great sages observed the wonderful prowess of the son of King Prithu, they all agreed to give him the name Vijitaswa. My dear Vidura, Indra, being the king of heaven and very powerful, immediately brought a dense darkness upon the sacrificial arena. Covering the whole scene in this way, he again took away the horse, which was chained with golden shackles near the wooden instrument where animals were sacrificed. The great sage Atri again pointed out to the son of King Prithu that Indra was fleeing through the sky. The great hero, the son of Prithu, chased him again. But when he saw that Indra was carrying in his hand a staff with a skull at the top and was again wearing the dress of a sannyasi, he still chose not to kill him.
When the great sage Atri again gave directions, the son of King Prithu became very angry and placed an arrow on his bow. Upon seeing this, King Indra immediately abandoned the false dress of a sannyasi and, giving up the horse, made himself invisible. Then the great hero Vijitaswa, the son of King Prithu, again took the horse and returned to his father's sacrificial arena. Since that time, certain men with a poor fund of knowledge have adopted the dress of a false sannyasi. It was King Indra who introduced this.
Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada explains that there in Kali Yuga are many deviant sannyasis who externally dress like a sannyasi but act inappropriately. Or they just make up some new sannyas dress. Like he says that some of them go naked, some of them carry a skull and trident, generally known as kapalika. And many of them, well, no, he doesn't say many, but some of them have illicit sex and eat meat. And they say that it's impossible to remain in the cold countries near the Arctic zone without eating meat. So Prabhupada is pointing out these deviations which are stemming from this pastime. And he says that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has tried to kill all these pakandis, which means like the deviant sannyasis, by introducing the Sankirtan movement. And those who take advantage of the Sankirtan movement, of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, will be able to save themselves from the influence of these pakandis. So you want shelter from deviation, from these false teachers, then join ISKCON and chant Hare Krishna and you'll be okay. All right.
Whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant because of his desire to seize the horse were symbols of atheistic philosophy.
In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from King Prithu's sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyas. Some sannyasis go naked, and sometimes they wear red garments and pass under the name of kapalika. These are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they are all godless atheists and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they are only passing as adherents of religion and are not so, in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted to them, they spoil their life.
And we see in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga, people will be seen as religious if they just wear a Brahmin thread, for example. You know, you can buy for, 10 rupees in Vrindavan, a Brahmin thread. And if you wear that, then in Kali Yuga, people will will see that as you're a saint, you're a great person, or you wear the saffron dress and automatically people will. It's nice, actually. It's a great culture in India that there is respect for these external things. But in Kali Yuga, people are not very intelligent, and they think that's everything, just the external garb. Okay, please go on.
Maharaj Prithu, who was celebrated as very powerful, immediately took up his bow and arrows and prepared to kill Indra himself, because Indra had introduced such irregular sannyas orders.
Go ahead.
When the priests and all the others saw Maharaj Prithu very angry and prepared to kill Indra, they requested him, "O great soul, do not kill him, for only sacrificial animals can be killed in a sacrifice. Such are the directions given by Shastra."
Dear King, Indra's powers are already reduced due to his attempt to impede the execution of your sacrifice. We shall call him by Vedic mantras which were never before used, and certainly he will come. Thus, by the power of our mantra, we shall cast him into the fire because he is your enemy.
Yeah, if you want drama, no need to go to soap opera as a reality TV. Just go to the Bhagavatam. Look at this.
My dear Vidura, after giving the king this advice, the priests who had been engaged in performing the sacrifice called for Indra, the king of heaven, in a mood of great anger. When they were just ready to put the oblation in the fire, Lord Brahma appeared on the scene and forbade them to start the sacrifice. Lord Brahma addressed them thus: "My dear sacrificial performers, you cannot kill Indra, the king of heaven. It is not your duty. You should know that Indra is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, he is one of the most powerful assistants of the Personality of Godhead. You are trying to satisfy all the demigods by the performance of this yajna. But you should know that all these demigods are but parts and parcels of Indra, the king of heaven. How then can you kill him in this great sacrifice?"
Okay, so just before we go on, we've been reading a lot. Can someone quickly summarize what we've read so far? Just for those who may have missed the storyline. So, yeah. What's happening? Maharaj Prithu is doing these 100 horse sacrifices, and then King Indra comes, he steals the last one, and runs away. And then, which sage? Atri Muni tells the son of Maharaj Prithu to go get the horse back. And, sorry? Thank you. Indra is known as the performer of 100 horse sacrifices. He even has a specific name to that effect. And if Maharaj Prithu does 100 horse sacrifices, Indra doesn't have the top dog position anymore. So out of his envy, he tries to stop. It's an important detail, thank you. And so then when Indra sees Vijitashva chasing after him, then he lets the horse go. He leaves his sannyas, his fake sannyas dress, and runs away. And then Atri Muni says, "No, you got to go again." And so, because Indra steals the horse again. And then, so again, Vijitashva goes. Indra again drops the false dress. And so, what, 2 times or 3 times he steals the horse? I think it's 3. Because the 3rd time he puts this dark cloud over the arena and then goes and steals the horse who was chained with gold shackles. And then, yeah. Interesting. Okay, each time that Indra does this, he starts a new line of deviant sannyas. And all those lines are still existing today. Okay, thank you. All right, and then the sages are saying, we can kill Indra. And they angrily call out for him. And then who appears? Lord Brahma, to pacify the situation. Okay, we're continuing his instructions.
In order to make trouble and impede the performance of King Prithu's great sacrifice, King Indra has adopted some means that in the future will destroy the clear path of religious life. I draw your attention to this fact. If you oppose him any further, he will further misuse his power and introduce many other irreligious systems. Let there be only 99 sacrificial performance for Maharaja Prithu. Lord Brahma concluded. Lord Brahma then turned towards Maharaja Prithu and informed him that since he was thoroughly aware of the path of liberation, what was the use in performing more sacrifices? Lord Brahma continued, let there be good fortune to both of you, for you and King Indra are both part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you should not be angry with King Indra, who is none different from you.
Thank you. So, what are the reasons Brahma gives? Why shouldn't Prithu kill Indra? It'll make the situation worse. Yeah, Indra will continue introducing these irreligious deviations. So better to stop. But he's so close, you know. Can you think of examples? Maybe this might happen. I was thinking, you've distributed 99 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. You've got a goal of 100. And someone else is competitive with you and they steal the last set. I've heard a story that during the marathon in December, in the mood of competition, a devotee slashed the tire of another Sankirtan vehicle to prevent them from going out. So we can get overly competitive and it can cause disturbance. So maybe sometimes we could just tone down the competition. All right, you can win. It's okay. No problem. Yeah. And Lord Brahma says, you're already, you're a Shaktivesha avatar. Why do you need to do, what's the importance really of doing 100? It's not significant. And let there be good fortune to both of you. So nice. Bhadram te. Yeah, like a loving grandfather, Lord Brahma. Please be peaceful, both of you. Yeah. Okay. Can we pass the mic, please? Por favor.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's just surprising that the solution here is actually to indulge Indra in his egoistic, activities. Because you would think that Brahma would step in and be like, now look, Indra, you're causing more harm here than you are, and it's all about your ego. You need to just be humble, and it's fine. Maharaj Prithu, he's an incarnation of the Lord. He's actually superior to you. Let him be superior to you. But he's like, no, Prithu, you just don't worry about it, and let Indra be happy thinking he's the best. It's just interesting the way Brahma negotiates it in favor of an egotistical, envious, manifestations from a person.
When I hear that, I wonder, okay, if I'm getting advice from someone even as great as Brahma, but I'm absorbed in false ego, I might get the wrong, not the wrong advice, but I might not get the highest instruction. We have to be free from false ego to really get the highest instruction from even our spiritual master. There's the example of Srila Prabhupada instructing one disciple or not instructing, but allowing him to get divorced. Why? Because Prabhupada said he would do it anyway, and then he would commit guru aparad. So better I allow him to do it. So for me, that's the lesson, is we should be very cautious to be submissive and free from false ego when we're getting instruction from our spiritual master. Otherwise, they may want to give us the highest knowledge, and they won't. Are there other examples you all can think of in Srila Prabhupada's pastimes or Bhagavatam where someone did not get the highest knowledge because they weren't ready to hear it? Duryodhana? He saw the universal form of Krishna and he still wasn't able to see Krishna as the supreme. Though Krishna didn't tone it down for him, he was actually giving a very high revelation in that sense, no? Other examples? That's what I was thinking, yeah. Narada Muni met Mrigari. And what was his instruction to Mrigari? The first instruction? Kill the animals fully. Yeah, don't half kill them. Yeah. So, of course, eventually, by the grace of Narada Muni, he became a pure devotee. Okay, so let's continue Lord Brahma's instructions. We're almost finished with the chapter. Actually, we're not almost done. Let's go on. Nanda Braj, let's go. Oh, Kaylee, yeah. You didn't read yet.
My dear king, do not be agitated and anxious because your sacrifices have not been properly executed due to providential impediments. Kindly take my words with great respect. We should always remember that if something happens by providential arrangements, we should not be very sorry. The more we try to rectify such reversals, the more we enter into the darkest region of the materialistic thought. 35. Lord Brahma continued, stop the performance of these sacrifices, for they have induced Indra to introduce so many irreligious aspects. You should know very well that even amongst the demigods there are many unwanted desires.
One more.
36. Just see how Indra, the king of heaven, was creating a disturbance in the midst of the sacrifice by stealing the sacrificial horse. These attractive sinful activities he has introduced will be carried out by the people in general.
Thank you. Okay, next reader. Please go ahead. Yeah, we have not so much time.
O King Prithu, son of Vena, you are the part and parcel expansion of Lord Vishnu. Due to the mischievous activities of King Vena, religious principles were almost lost. At the opportune moment, you descended as the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Indeed, for the protection of religious principles, you have appeared from the body of King Vena. Text 38. O protector of the people in general, please consider the purpose of your being incarnated by Lord Vishnu. The irreligious principles created by Indra are but mothers of so many unwanted religions. Please therefore stop these imitations immediately. 39. The great sage Maitreya continued, when King Prithu was thus advised by the supreme teacher, Lord Brahma, he abandoned his eagerness to perform yagyas and with great affection concluded a peace with King Indra.
Thank you. So, Brahma's advice at the end here. I'll just read the last few verses, Kaylee. Lord Brahma is saying, remember your purpose. It's a good instruction for us that we should make sure to stay in touch with the purpose. What am I doing in my life? If we get out of touch with our purpose, then we may emphasize a detail over a principle. We have to keep the main thing the main thing. So stay in touch with your purpose, Lord Brahma is advising. And with great affection, King Prithu concluded a peace with King Indra. So King Prithu is feeling great affection, and then just see how pleased everyone is who's involved. After this, Prithu Maharaj took his bath, which is customarily taken after the performance of a yagya, and received the benedictions and due blessings of the demigods, who were very pleased by his glorious activities. Prithu is pleased, the demigods are pleased, and then, with great respect, the original King Prithu offered all kinds of rewards to the Brahmins present at the sacrifice. Since all these Brahmins were very much satisfied, they gave their heartfelt blessings to the king. Look at that. The Brahmins are happy, giving blessings. All the great sages and Brahmins said, O mighty king, by your invitation, all classes of living entities have attended this assembly. They have come from Pitraloka and the heavenly planets, and great sages as well as common men have attended this meeting. Now all of them are very much satisfied by your dealings and your charity towards them. So everybody is satisfied because of King Prithu's behavior. So he could have said, no, I need to do the 100th one, really emphasizing kind of the external factor. But what's most important? Getting the blessings of great souls. Because yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. You get the blessings of the Brahmanas, the Vaishnavas, then Krishna is pleased and life is perfect. Okay. We will go to text 36. Yeah, we'll skip over the Sanskrit. I'll just read it one time for sake of time. Ebhir indropasam srishtai pakandir haribhir janam riyamanam vichikshvainam yaste yagya drugashvamut. Translation. Just see how Indra, the king of heaven, was creating a disturbance in the midst of the sacrifice by stealing the sacrificial horse. These attractive sinful activities he has introduced will be carried out by the people in general. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.21, Yad yad acharati shreshas tad tadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. For his own sense gratification, King Indra thought to defeat Maharaj Prithu in the performance of 100 horse sacrifices. Consequently, he stole the horse and hid himself amid so many irreligious personalities, taking on the false guise of a sannyasi. Such activities are attractive to the people in general, therefore they are dangerous. Lord Brahma thought that instead of allowing Indra to further introduce such irreligious systems, it would be better to stop the sacrifice. A similar stance was taken by Lord Buddha when people were overly engrossed in the animal sacrifices recommended by Vedic instructions. Lord Buddha had to introduce the religion of non-violence by contradicting the Vedic sacrificial instructions. Actually, in the sacrifices, the slaughtered animals were given a new life, but people without such powers were taking advantage of such Vedic rituals and unnecessarily killing poor animals. Therefore, Lord Buddha had to deny the authority of the Vedas for the time being. One should not perform sacrifices that will induce reversed orders. It is better to stop such sacrifices. As we have repeatedly explained, due to a lack of qualified Brahminical priests in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. Consequently, the Shastras instruct us to perform the Sankirtan Yagya. By the Sankirtan sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his form of Lord Chaitanya, will be satisfied and worshipped. The entire purpose of performing sacrifices is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, or Lord Krishna, is present in his form of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, people who are intelligent should try to satisfy him by performing Sankirtan Yagya. This is the easiest way to satisfy Lord Vishnu in this age. People should take advantage of the injunctions in different Shastras concerning sacrifices in this age, and not create unnecessary disturbances during the sinful age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, men all over the world are very expert in opening slaughterhouses for killing animals, which they eat. If the old ritualistic ceremonies were observed, people would be encouraged to kill more and more animals. In Kolkata, there are many butcher shops which keep a deity of the goddess Kali, and animal eaters think it proper to purchase animal flesh from such shops in hope that they are eating the remnants of food offered to goddess Kali. They do not know that goddess Kali never accepts non-vegetarian food because she is the chaste wife of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is also a great Vaishnava and never eats non-vegetarian food, and the goddess Kali accepts the remnants of food left by Lord Shiva. Therefore, there is no possibility of her eating flesh or fish. Such offerings are accepted by the associates of goddess Kali. Such offerings are accepted by the associates of goddess Kali known as Bhutas, Pishachas, and Rakshasas. And those who take the prasad of goddess Kali in the shape of flesh and fish are not actually taking the prasad left by goddess Kali, but the food left by the Bhutas and Pishachas. Be warned if someone offers you Kali prasad. Hare Krishna. We have very little time. There's many wonderful lessons in this chapter. The topic for this discussion was meant to be that we should evaluate our endeavors. And if we're doing some religious activity and it creates an irreligious effect, then we should stop it, be detached and self-satisfied, as we see the example of Maharaj Prithu. Because the real principle in devotional service is to please Krishna. We see this in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ata pumbir dvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanushthitasya dharmasya samsidhir hari toshanam. Hari toshanam. Pleasing Krishna. Samsiddhi. You get complete perfection in all of your varnashram duties if you just try to please Krishna. That's the essence of it all. And Krishna says also in the Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. That just give up all of your dharmas. Don't worry about it. Just serve me. And mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Don't fear. I'll take care of everything. It's very simple. For the simple, devotional service means to serve and please Krishna and the Vaishnavas. And if they're pleased with you, then automatically you can understand all Vedic knowledge. There's this verse, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru tasyaita katita hyarta prakashante mahatmana. That for someone who has implicit faith in the Guru and in Krishna, all of the knowledge from the Vedas is automatically revealed to them. So Maharaj Prithu is setting a wonderful example for us. We might be really interested in externally doing nice things for Krishna. We want to be very paka. We want to look very nice and speak very nice and do wonderful big services for Krishna. And it's good. We should try to do big things for Krishna if we have the capacity. We shouldn't limit ourselves. But what's most important is pleasing Krishna. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita he says twice, he emphasizes bhakti. He's saying that patram pushpam palam toyam. Offer me even these simple things. Just give me a little water. If you do it with love, I'm happy. And he says that I'll give you the intelligence so you can come back to me. If you just serve me with priti, with affection. So that's it. That's the essence. We're practicing devotional service. So we need to develop that affection. And service is how we start. We don't have the feelings at first. We don't have this great affection for Krishna. But we try our best. We do service. And gradually he'll purify our heart. And the natural priti, this natural affection will come out. And then what else do you need? If you are pleased by everyone, if everyone is pleased by you, as Krishna describes in the Gita, then what else do you need? Everywhere you go, you're happy. You're satisfied. What a nice life that would be, huh? If you didn't see someone and you think, try to avoid someone. Oh no, that person, right? Speaking for myself, unfortunately, this is how my mind works sometimes, is I want to avoid certain personalities because it will be difficult for me to interact with them. So let's pray, let's endeavor so that one day we can achieve that state. Everywhere we go, people are happy. We should make people happy wherever we go, not whenever we go. Hare Krishna. So please, we have a few minutes to share reflections. Let's hear Drishta and then Prabhupada Priya. Donde está the microphone? Oh, please, Prabhupada Priya, before you go.
Hare Krishna, yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, I really like this chapter. My reflection is that Maharaj Prithu was attempting to do something religious, but it ended up creating irreligion in society. He was doing it for the benefit of society, to uplift society, but it ended up leading to the means of degrading society. And then Prabhupada brings up Lord Buddha, that people are performing animal sacrifices, which are meant to be religious and uplifting, but they were just doing them to eat the meat, which was degrading them. So in the same way, I was thinking that, we're a preaching movement. We want to attract people, and we perform activities by which we want to attract people, but sometimes those activities end up repelling people. So I was just thinking that we need to kind of like be very conscious of the effects that our activities are having. Our intention may be good. It may actually be a genuine process that was given by the acharyas, but what is it doing? What is the effect? Are we achieving the desired effect? And if not, then, let's not wait for Lord Brahma to come down and be like, stop, look what you're doing. We should try to. Yeah.
Thank you.
I kind of had a question. I saw like two kind of interesting themes in this. I guess the first one is like, be the bigger person. And then another thing that came up was that Brahma says, Indra's doing all these bad things, but he's a devotee. He's part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You shouldn't punish him. And so I guess kind of my first question is like, it's like I could never like do what Maharaj Prithu did, like be the bigger. I feel like I could never. Maybe one day, right, Guru's mercy or something. But this is something that would always like irritate me in like superhero movies is they let the villain get away and then he does it again. And I guess, do you have advice on how can we be the bigger person? Someone does something that hurts your feelings, and like I experienced this very recently or things like that, and the immediate reaction is just do something to hurt their feelings back. Or someone's trying to hurt my sacrifice, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. Okay. What do we do when someone causes us to feel difficult feelings, painful feelings, and we feel maybe a vengeful or ill feelings towards them? Do we have thoughts from members of the audience? What is an appropriate, what's a beneficial way? Prem Amrita? Well, let's hear Prema and then Nanda, and then we'll wrap up and we can discuss more over breakfast.
Something that I like to do in these situations is talk about these things. Communication is key. So maybe that means with someone mediating, or maybe that means I talk to someone else and then they talk to this person, or maybe sometimes it'll even mean I can just go up to this person directly and we can just have a civilized, mature conversation. But I think it's important that we express our needs and our feelings, and that we also are open to hearing their point of view. Yeah, I think that's...
Thank you. Yeah, we can try to approach the person directly and express our feelings, not blaming them, just saying, I feel hurt, I feel angry, and try to open up a dialogue. And if they are reciprocal in a friendly way, then you can continue. Not everyone will be able to speak in that way. And then, like you said, we might need to find a third party. Thank you. Or?
I've also had the experience where I want to talk about something. I want to talk this out. I want to apologize, and I also want to understand this person's perspective, but they're just not interested in that. And in that case, we just have to humbly internally take that humble position, and give them their space, and just pray to Krishna that things work out.
Yeah, and pray for their welfare also. Yes, Nanda Braj.
I was actually thinking very similar on the lines of Prema's to communicate. I was thinking also that when you do communicate this, if you're dealing with somebody who's got Vaishnava qualities, then it actually is a very good way to deepen a relationship and to understand more. Because usually they'll feel that they'll have some empathy and say, oh, and they'll try to better. Matter of fact, you've opened it up for them to say if you've hurt their feelings, right? Now I've opened up a way to communicate. And so I had one more point I was going to say. I just lost it. If they do show character that's not best for your Krishna consciousness, then you can learn to avoid those things that got you in that situation. We don't necessarily have to avoid the person all, but in the situation that got you there, you kind of like, okay, let's move around that, and use your intelligence to how to swerve.
Thank you. Practical. You want to share one last point and then we'll finish off? Bye, Prabhu.
I think being the bigger person, this idea of forgiveness, I feel like it's more personal sometimes. When you forgive somebody, you are getting rid of that thing that's bothering you, which helps you pursue your spirituality without being afflicted by other people. Like when you get disturbed by externals and then you hold a grudge. I remember watching this video where this professor, he's holding a glass and he said it's like 2 ounces. But if I hold this for 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, this little glass becomes such a pain in my arm. So just like that forgiveness and being the better person, yes, we can look at along the lines of like we might ruin our relationship or it's inhibiting me and I want to be the more humble person, the kinder person. But oftentimes just by forgiving and not acting on your impulse in terms of your anger and the passion in the moment, by containing yourself, by developing that self-control, you're pursuing your spirituality by, letting it go and therefore not being bothered by other people. So it's not that necessarily it doesn't matter that this happened. It's just in the grand scheme of things, it's not so important. And that's what kind of Bhagavad Gita is giving us. It's not saying, once you start doing bhakti, then your life's going to be good and nothing's going to be sad and nothing bad's going to ever happen. It's just saying that in the grand scheme of things, a wise person is not disturbed by things are going to go up, things are going to go down, this person's going to say something to me. It's going to happen. Just understand it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, thank you so much. We've got to get the transcendental perspective by studying the Shastras and see that these things are really tiny. Okay, last point.
Last point. Sorry,
PS,
I know
PS
it's late. I was just thinking it's interesting. Well, at least one thing that stood out to me is that, Lord Indra is not just like some random person. He's the king of heaven, and he has a service to do. And so if he gets sacrificed, he has something very important. That's like all of a sudden there's this huge vacuum in the maintenance and how the whole universe functions. And so I was also thinking that that's kind of like, what was the most important thing in that moment?
Yeah, like we saw in the last chapter, a few chapters back, that the sages installed Vena, even though he was a child murderer in his youth, because it was better than no king. So that's a valid point for sure. Krishna, it's a complicated matter. We need to study the Shastras, we need to consult with sadhus and discuss it in Bhagavatam class. Pray for intelligence. Thank you all so much for the wonderful discussion. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.